It's that time of the year. Hummingbirds are starting their long migration, and that means that pretty soon your feeder might be swarming with these squeaky, colorful creatures. But hummingbirds aren't the only thing that's attracted to sugar water, and sooner or later you might be visited by ants. Lots of ants. But don't worry, because in this wildlife project I'm going to show you how to build a little device called an ant moat, and that will keep the ants away from your hummingbird feeder. Are you ready to get started? The first thing we're going to do is gather the materials and tools. You're going to need a glue gun and several glue sticks, a couple of empty bottles, some stiff wire, a pair of pliers, a drill, scissors, and a utility knife, and an old non-stick frying pan. If you know me, I always have a Dr. Pepper bottle somewhere close by, but if it's full, you're going to have to empty it. I wonder what I should do with all of that Dr. Pepper. Problem solved. You can also use any other plastic bottle that you have laying around if you want. Some people like to use the thicker ones like a vitamin water or a Gatorade bottle. If you use those, just remember that the thicker plastic is a lot harder to cut. Take your utility knife and slice off the top third of the bottle. Try to make this cut pretty straight, but you can even it up later with scissors if you need to. Remember to use an old non-stick frying pan for this next step. We're going to be melting plastic, and you do not want to use your mom's good cookware. Trust me on that. If you don't have an old pan, you can usually get them for $1 or so at the thrift store or a yard sale. Let the pan warm up and gently rub the edge of the bottle over the surface. It won't take long, just a few seconds, and then the edge will be melted and smooth. The reason we do this is because sometimes the sharp edge can cut the hummingbird's feet if they land on it. Next, we're going to drill a hole through the center of the lid. You want this hole to be the same size as the wire you're going to use. And speaking of wire, a lot of people use a coat hanger, but I like the plastic-coated clothesline wire. It really doesn't matter what you use as long as it's stiff, but still soft enough to bend with a pair of pliers. A good rule of thumb is that the wire should start off about 3 times as long as the bottle section you're working with. You can always trim it later if you want. The next step is to bend one end of the wire into a hook. After that, you put the straight end into the bottle and through the hole that you drilled into the lid. Once it's through, take your pliers and bend the bottom into a hook. Just make sure that you bend it in the same direction that you bent the top one. Now take your project and stand it in something that will support it. Here I'm using the bottom half of another bottle. It's time for the glue gun. This can be a little bit tricky because you don't want to melt the plastic on the bottle, so you have to carefully drip the glue straight down. It normally takes almost a whole stick of glue to do this. Once you've filled most of the cap with glue, hold the wire steady in the center until the glue cools off. This can take 5 minutes or longer, so you need to be patient and try not to move the wire while the glue is cooling. After a few minutes, turn the bottle over and put a little bit more glue around the wire on the bottom. So that's it. You've now made an ant moat for your hummingbird feeder, and the only thing left to do is fill it with water and see how it works. If you've enjoyed this video, please take a moment to like and subscribe to our channel.